First on our list tonight, Romani Beckett.
Good evening, Romani Beckett, Rockledge Place, Cedar Grove. How are you today?
Doing well. How about yourself?
Good, thank you. I would like to go over security, especially that I see two items on the agenda today, E11 and S23. Of course, I don't know the details, so I'm just gonna talk based on the previous history that transpired since June and so on. In June, we had a meeting. In July came another special meeting. Then in July, it was decided that a survey was going to be submitted in August. The survey was completed by August 4. There's overwhelming resident/parents, 80 to 85%, I believe, Mr. Grosso shared. The survey result that's in favor of armed security. Again, this has been ongoing for a while. We have a referendum back in 2018. Then on 8/30, I was promised that we're going to speed up the process during my interaction with the board with Ed and Mr. Grosso. However, I don't see there is urgency in processing. And also, I became aware that some junior and senior that leave high school come back and call their friends, come back late, and call their friends and being permitted in by their friend without being monitored by the staff or administrator. So I think that's a breach, regardless of what option we go to with. It's mute in my view. It's not going to happen. There is no safety here. So we really need to implement protocol, procedure, control over doors, over process, and to make sure that it cannot be breached. Because again, how many security staff are you going to have? You're not going to have one for each door, entrance and exit. So we really need to address that. In addition to that, when we talk about during the special meeting on August 30, the option that Mr. Grosso recommended was private firm. Due to cost and sustainability and grant and such, and we went over a couple, pros and cons, what's cost, who's on the liability, which payroll, are they going to be on the payroll, options and such, and the selection seemed to lean towards private firm. However, we did not really talk about the pros and cons, the limitation-wise. So class 3, for example, will exercise for full power and duty similar to those of permanent, regularly appointed full-time police officer while providing security at public or non-public school premises during operation. That's it. The use of firearm by an officer of this class shall be authorized pursuant provision of subsection B of section 7 BL. I don't want to keep on going over the laws, but you get the message. An officer of this class shall not be permitted to carry a firearm while off duty unless the officer complies with the requirement outlined in subsection. The benefit of that, when we talk about cost, really I think we omitted some aspect of that. The aspect is, I think they will be considered part-timer, and therefore they're not eligible for benefits, so they are cost-efficient option. So it's not really bad option. So that's one option I want to highlight. The second is someone, the extensive training that he goes through required for any full-time police officer. As a parent, that's the option. Again, I'm talking as a parent, not as a BOE or superintendent. But that's the option I lean with because that's the option that gives me the most comfort that my son, my daughter, my child is going to make it back home safely. So with that in mind, those are the couple items. I would like also to get on the agenda when we speak about the description of the armed force and why are we doing another gap assessment? Because we did gap assessment. I remember our interaction with Laura that Ms. Mega mentioned. The Cedar Grove Police Department did the gap assessment on the outside of the school premises, and correct me if I'm wrong. And a consultant did it on the inside. So every time we delay the implementation of the security for the school, what that's happening is we have to redo a gap assessment. And I see this as a waste of district resource. So for those reasons, I would really urge you to take action and to move it faster. And also in the meantime, until the security force option that's going to be selected is implemented and put into place, We need to monitor what's going around. So like I mentioned, the student that opened the door for their friend coming in late, I don't think that should be, should not be allowed. I actually got a call from the parents of these children saying, I'm happy they got into trouble, but not for the right reason. They were not, again, the administrator did not know what they did and how they got it. So, any comment?
So first of all, I would appreciate your comments, and I would encourage any parent who has information of such an example that you shared tonight about calling and opening the door, to please call the school and share with the administration so that they could address any type of breaches. And I agree that that is just unacceptable, and that's something that the administration will have to continue to work on. As far as I disagree that there is a delay in moving forward. The board is moving forward, and as we proceed tonight, there is a resolution to approve a job description. So we are moving forward as quickly as possibly and efficiently as we possibly can. As far as having and maybe Mr. Grosso can assist me with this, but as far as having an updated assessment done, that is necessary as we move forward. We're not waiting for the assessment to continue our process. We are moving forward with getting the appropriate people in place as the assessment is going on, because that's just going to make our overall plan that much more efficient.
Yeah, thank you. One more comment.
Sure.
So recently, the Supreme Court ruling in the case of New York, New York State Rifle and Pistol Association versus Bruin finding New York laws to be unconstitutional. So again, this is going to be the urgent, why I'm urging this, to speak
I
up.
assure you, we have the same urgency that you and everyone sitting here and watching from home have, because we all have children in this district, and the urgency of getting security in the building is paramount, and it's on our forefront.
Yeah, so I just want to finish this comment because that's finding made it easier for people to get a permit for guns, and the restriction was lifted. So that's why, again, that's the point, but I appreciate your comment. And again, I did not hear the resolution yet, so I'm speaking as a blindfold on this part. So I look forward to hearing it and seeing improvement. Thank you.
Next, we have Mr. Beckett.
Did you miss me already? Okay, so
Please state your name
sure.
again.
Romani Beckett, still Rockledge Place, Cedar Grove.
You didn't move?
No. So I'm going to talk about the overcrowded in class size, specific to South End in comparison to North End, right? So North End grades classes are between roughly 16 to 18, right? Versus class size in South End that could go up to 22, 23. The two schools will feed the same middle school, the same high school, give an advantage to the North End student over the South End student. I understand that we're working on a long-term solution, but I believe we need to address it now. Because every day or every year that passes by, we compromise that the student at South End is not getting the same level of education as the ones in North End. Also, the music class combine more than one class at South End. I heard it reach 2, sometimes 3 classes at times, with 44 plus students in one class. I don't think that's efficient. I came from a third world country. Let me tell you, no difference. And we should not do this right. We're very advanced with the USA, and we should provide our kids the best education available, especially that we have a budget of $38 million plus that divided by 1,600, little more than 1,600 students. That translates to $23,750 on average per student. I think our students should be scientists by the time they graduate grade 12. We are focused again on LRB rebuilding, which is a long-term solution, which I'm in for all of that, but we must address it now by redistricting till LRP is rebuilt or another solution is put into place again. We have North End, again, is one of the 8 blue ribbon recognized in the state, but then South End on the other side, the teacher is doing 1/3 on average more class size, right? So I see this as discouraging, demoralized to our South End staff and teacher. In all fairness, I work in the private sector. I don't want to be doing 2 people's jobs, right? I want to do my job and my fair share. I get paid the same like they do, so why do I work? I love it. Staff and teacher are not properly trained on new systems or told of new policies. And I'll give you an example on that. Color printing. The district limited to maintain costs, which that's good, but why don't you communicate that? I believe to the gentleman talking about the communication. I think our communication is lacking here. And we really need to be transparent with our teacher, not just the community, the teacher too. I feel for the teacher because the teacher sometimes are wedged between the BOE, the state, the superintendent, and the parent on the other side. And the parent sees only the teacher, right? So again, that's not fair. We need to be fair to our staff. And I believe by doing so and implementing certain procedure, again, with the staff and communication, will bring the morale up. Hopefully will reduce the high turnover and the quality of education gets elevated to the next level.
So first, I would like to say thank you for your comments. And I can appreciate everything you're saying and in agreement with a lot of what you're saying. Communication is definitely an area that this Board of Ed is committed to continuing to work on. We recognize that communication is an area that needs to be further developed, okay? My second question back to you is, are you a part of the committee, the community committee regarding the referendum? Because as Mr. Rosso had mentioned, the conversations are including both short-term and long-term. I think you have a lot to bring to that committee though, so if you're not already a part of it, it might be something to consider.
I would love to. The last couple of weeks I've been extremely busy, but by all means, use me as much as you can. I'll volunteer, whatever you need.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
I appreciate it.
Appreciate your time.